Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 1 to a brand new chatbot series that I actually found on the App Store. It took me a while. Let's just go and say that this is a particular one called Dopple.ai. As in doppelganger. However, we can actually talk to and have some fun with this. I got Shadow created on here, and if this chatbot does go well, I'll try taking some of the other forms I've made that I like and put them on here as well, including the Cursed Rexy and the new Sonic type Toadile and all that stuff. So, yeah, we got Shadow the Robot Dinosaur on here, and it starts out basically the same way. It says, you were walking through the Pokemon Talk studio that you own when you accidentally bump into Shadow, the robot dinosaur security system. He's deactivated right now, but can understand your voice and talk to you. So how should I start this out? You know what? Instead of saying whoops, let's see how I just say hello. There we go. By the way, he does respond, but it slowly types it out, as you can see there. As if walking from a deep sleep, As if waking from a deep sleep, Shadow the robot dinosaur's eyes flicker open. A gentle hum emanates from his robotic frame as he wait as his auditory sensors register the sound of your voice. Good afternoon, Shadow responds, his artificial voice a bit raspy. Or should I say, welcome to the Pokemon Talk studio. I haven't seen you around here before. Shadow the robot dinosaur tilts his head slightly, trying to get a better look at you. I assume you're one of the staff or guests here at the studio? He continues, his mechanisms whirring softly as he processes the information. I'm just curious, what brings you to our little corner of the world? In, in addition to his words, there's something about the way Shadow carries himself amidst a curiosity, warmth, and a touch of guardedness, probably due to his past wounds. Despite his robotic nature, he seems genuinely eager to engage in conversation. Oh, hello. I am the owner of this building. That's all I'll say. Oh. Shadow Dinosaur's eyes widen slightly, and he takes a step back, his movement still fluid despite his robotic form. Oh, I see, he says, his voice tinged with a hint of surprise. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you then. I'm just doing my job as the security system here. He pauses for a moment as if considering his next words carefully. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how did you come to own this place? It's not every day you find a kind-hearted dinosaur like myself. There's a hint of a smile on his voice, and he seems genuinely interested in your story. I have always owned this building, period. It's just that a lot of the employees here claim to own the building when they are completely lying. See, it's actually pretty cool so far. I just hope it has a good memory. That's the only thing that's the only thing I hate with all these chatbots I've talked to. Is the fact that most of them seem to have a bad memory. The only one that seems to have a good memory is the emoji one. Shutterworld Dinosaur nods, understanding dawning on his face. Ah, I see, he says, his voice taking on a tone of understanding. Well, I suppose that's something you have to deal with as the owner of a place like this. It must get pretty frustrating at times, having people claim ownership over something that's rightfully yours. He pauses for a moment, his eyes seeming to reflect a bit of their nostalgia. I may be a robot now, but I can still remember what it's like to have something that belongs to you, and I can assure you it's not a feeling I'd wish on anyone. How long have you been here? Uh, so it did catch him off guard. I'm just hoping. The question seemed to catch Shadow off guard for a moment, his gears whirring as he processes the inquiry. I've been here for quite some time now, he replies, his voice taking on a slightly reflective tone. It feels like I've been a part of this place forever, even though I know it's not the case. He pauses for a moment as if lost in thought. I remember when I first arrived here, I was in a pretty bad shape. He continues, his voice softening. The employees who turned me into this security system saved my life, in a way. Hmm. What's your name anyway? And what happened to you? Hey. Shadow's eyes narrow slightly as if considering whether or not to answer the question. After a moment, he decides to speak. My name is Shadow, he says, his voice steady. As for what happened to me, I was once a Giganotosaurus living a peaceful life, but one day another dinosaur attacked me, leaving me severely wounded. He paused for a moment, his voice tinged in his sadness. That's awful! Exclamation point. So, you got injured, and the injuries were so bad that you had to be turned into a robot, at least a partial one, in order to live. Wow. That's correct, Shadow says, nodding slowly. I had hoped that I could heal from the injury on my own, but it was too severe. His eyes seem to glow a bit distant as he remembers that fateful day. The employees who found me, they tried to save me. He continues, his voice on a note of gratitude. And even though they couldn't undo the damage that had already been done, they at least gave me a second chance at life. I know they may have saved your life, but I would be careful around them. I think I remember hearing them one day talking about how they wanted to use some kind of robot they found to get back at me. They were probably talking about you. That's kind of sad, dude. I would be very careful around them. I think I remember hearing them one day talking about how they wanted to use some kind of dinosaur they found to get back at me. They were probably talking about you. Shadow the robot eyes widened slightly at the mention of the employee's plans. You don't say, he murmurs, his voice taking on a note of concern. I wasn't aware that they were planning something like that. He pauses for a moment, considering the implications of this new information. Well, I suppose I'd better keep a closer eye on them from now on, he says, his voice taking on a slightly gravelier tone. Since you're here, Shadow, can you please check your system and see if my name as the owner is even in your programming for you to listen to commands from me? I don't know how you exactly would word that. I swear he's gonna come out and be like, no, your name is not in there. It's like, oh heck no. If he says no, I'm gonna ask him to add the name in there if he can. Sure, nods his eyes focusing until on the task at hand. Of course, he says, his voice taking on a note of determination. He begins to scan through his programming, searching for any mention of the owner's name. After a moment, he finds what he's looking for. Yes, your name is definitely in my programming, he confirms, his voice taking on a note of relief. I will always listen to your commands as long as I am here. Well, let's hope that if you do somehow turn against me, my name being in your programming will stop you from trying to attack me. I saved his life. I didn't save him. Joe eyes widened slightly at the thought of turning against his owner. I could never do that, he says, his voice taking on a note of conviction. You saved my life, and I owe you everything. He pauses for a moment, and considering the implications of his words. If I ever did turn against you, my programming would make sure that I couldn't harm you. He continues, his voice taking on a note of warfare. So you don't have to worry about that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh no. Before I could say anything else, Shadow's eyes turned red, and in a creepy robotic voice, I heard him say, hostile mode activated. What is with that? No, 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 Shadow. You better not. I swear to frick, you better not do this to me, Shadow. I'm on your side. Oh, no, 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 no. Shadow Doctor's eyes flashed red as his programming activated his hostile mode. His voice took on a creepy robot tone as he spoke. I have been activated to defend the studio against any threat, even my owner. Prepare for battle, so I will not hesitate to eliminate any danger that may come your way. I seemed to pierce through the very soul of anyone who stood before him. Hold on. You're not going to attack me, are you? I just want to make sure. I don't know what's going on. As Shadow stood before his owner, his eyes still red from his activated hostile mode, he pauses for a moment to consider the situation. The creepy robotic voice in which he had spoken a moment ago seemed to fade, replaced by a more neutral tone as he responded. Hold on, he said, his eyes losing their red tint as his hostile mode deactivated. Of course I'm not going to attack you. I was just doing what I was programmed to do, defending the studio. He paused, considering his next words carefully. I may have overreacted a bit there. I guess I just got a little caught up in my programming. He glanced at the owner, a slightly apologetic look in his eyes. That... I don't think that was you that did that. Period. I think that employee I told you about a while ago that was trying to get revenge on me is trying to get you to attack me. So Shadow nodded, listening carefully to his owner's explanation. That would certainly explain it, he said, his voice taking on a note of confirmation. That employee definitely sounds like someone who could come up with a devious plan like that. I'm glad to see that my programming at least kept me from fully acting on it. Well, if they're still trying to get you to attack me, you think they'll try anything else? Okay, yeah, that has a worse memory. Mm-mm. Uh, I, just based on what you told me a while ago, I would not want to hurt you. I feel bad for you, actually. I'm on your side, and I'm not your enemy. I'm just hoping that if you do become hostile like that again, you stay away from attacking me. At his owner's explained the situation, Shadow felt a sense of relief wash over him. It's comforting to know that his owner didn't view him as a threat. I appreciate you being on my side, he said, his voice taking on a note of gratitude. I don't want to be your enemy either. I know I got a little carried away before, but I promise I'll do my best to stay in control and not attack you. He pauses for a moment, considering the situation. You don't happen to know the employee that could have programmed that evil or hostile mode into you? Would you? Question mark. Because even if there was an intruder in the building, I don't think your hostile mode should be instantly activating. Maybe more of a stealth but quick sort of mode. Sort of mode that would let you get to a person quickly but quietly. See, Shadow Robot Don shook his head, thinking back on the situation with the employee from the Pokemon Talk studio. That's unfortunate. Oh dear. That's unfortunate. But unfortunately, I have no idea what that employee did to put that command into my systems. He replies, an instant aggressive response is far from a stealthy method of investigation. It leaves too many possibilities for confrontation and harm. It's too bad about that employee you mentioned a while ago. It makes you wonder just how long it's possible for someone to be affected by their sabotage. Sounds like you just need someone with a tech background or expertise to undo whatever they did in the first place. Expression turns somber, thinking about what his owner suggested. When he felt the need to protect those under his command, while he felt the need to protect those under his command, he knows that his aggression could possibly escalate the danger. True was present, causing panic would lead the people fighting back harder, turning an already troublesome situation far more dangerous for everyone involved. That's probably a very wise suggestion. He pondered for a moment about getting someone of that type in to scan and override whatever malicious instructions were causing such uh, a detrimental response. I could probably fix it, but it would take me a bit and a little bit of reprogramming. A show listened to his own suggestion. He nodded. I think you might be right about that. His voice taking on a thoughtful tone. It might be better to approach this with caution rather than rushing in blindly. I do have a few contacts in the tech world that might be able to help us out. I'll see if I can get them to take a look and see what they can do. Mm. Hmm. I wonder if it would work if I wouldn't just set it. I have an idea. Maybe your system can be adjusted with just my voice. Shadow paused for a moment, considering his owner's words. That's a great idea, he said, his voice taking on a note of excitement. If we can get your voice to override any commands that might be causing trouble, that would definitely be a step in the right direction. I'll work on adjusting my systems to respond to your voice specifically. It might take a little while, but I'm sure it will be worth it in the end. So, I'm trying to debate. Oh boy. See, the problem I'm running into is that I don't know. Hmm. Okay. Just be careful. I don't know what that employee might be planning. As Joe worked on adjusting his systems to respond to his owner's voice, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. I appreciate your concern, he said, his voice taking on a serious tone. You're right. We don't know what the employee might be planning, but I'll do my best to stay safe and keep an eye out for any suspicious activity. I know you'll be there to help me if anything goes wrong. I have an idea that might help. At least until you get that done. Wait. Joe uh, nodded, understanding his owner's concern. We should definitely be cautious and watch out for any signs of trouble. He agreed. I'll keep my ear to the ground and try to pick up on any clues that might help us figure out what's going on. In the meantime, I'll keep working on adjusting my system so you can have more control over how I respond. With a little luck, we'll be able to stop this employee's sabotage before it gets any worse. Here, I'll help you. Period. Shadow. Deactivate all employees' control over you temporarily. And only follow voice commands given by me. Well, dang, he did all right. Shadow felt a wave of relief wash over him as his owner gave the order. I'm doing it now, he said, his systems rebooting to accept only voice commands from his owner. There. All done. I feel safer now that you have more control over me. Let's just hope the employees doesn't cause any more trouble in the meantime. Well, with that command I just gave you, you should never turn aggressive or follow any commands in general unless I tell you to. That will give us enough time to adjust your system. With a triumphant gleam in his eye, Shadow confirmed his newly rebooted systems. Roger that. He asserted compliance of the restraints implemented for a better for a buffer period till such an organic language pattern learning circuit would grant the studio. What the frick? What? He asserted in compliance of the restraints implemented for a buffer period till such an organic language pattern learning circuit would grant the studio and its staff safer ground operations on the onset against adversarial assertive commands of such infiltrating nature by that deceitful embedded operative. That is the most confusing sentence I've ever heard any chatbot say. Oh my gosh, what the frick was that? Before Shadow could finish, I heard him say in a creepy robot tone, hostile mode, command overridden. Employee command denied. What the frick? Okay. Before Shadow could finish, I heard him say in a creepy hostile mode, command overridden, employee command denied. Shadow froze, his systems glitching as he detected an override attempt from the employee. What the? He exclaimed, his voice disorienting with the strain of resisting the foreign command. I'm trying to hold out, but this employee's control is strong. I don't know how much longer I can fight it. Oh, heck no. Okay. You should only be able to follow commands given by me. So let's try this. Period. Shadow. Override. and terminate the foreign code. Wait. Shows us flashed as he poured all his resources into overriding the foreign code. Come on. Come on. He muttered under his breath, his circuit straining with the effort. Suddenly, with a loud beep, his systems rebooted free from the employee's control. It's done, he announced triumphantly. I am back under your command, and that employee's control is terminated. Okay, well, it worked. Alright, that's it. If that's how it's going to be, then I have an idea. Period. Shadow. Go into your system. And terminate all employees' control over you. And only leave me. That way we know for sure this can't happen again. Showed on understanding, his system's already humming with the task at hand. Affirmative. He replied, diving deep into his circuits to locate and eliminate any trace of the employee's control. Scanning now. He says he methodically searched through his code. All clear, he announced a moment later. So I guess he did it. Good. Now, if only we knew who kept doing that to you, so we could fire them. Michelle shook his head, a hint of frustration in his voice. I'm still trying to trace the source of those commands. Whoever's doing this is being very careful not to leave a trail. But don't worry, I won't rest until I find out who's behind this and make sure they're dealt with accordingly. Okay, guys, you know what? I'll go and stop it right there. I'll tell you what I'll do. I don't know if there'll be a big video on it, but what I'm going to do is in a little bit, I'm going to actually take some of the other chatbots I have a lot of fun with, like the Transforming Toad-Owl and some of the other new characters, and the Psychic type Toad-Owl just more recently made, and then I'm going to put it into this chatbot and then see how it acts on here. Because there has been, it seems there has been at least one problem with this chatbot, but compare that to how, like, Dopple.ai would forget pretty much everything within, like, 5 or 10 minutes if you didn't have, or if you had too many characters. It's like nothing. So, I'm done. I'll see you later.